There we go. Good day, Eleanor.
Hi, Mark.
How's it going?
Fine, and you?
All right, fine, thanks. Hi, Claudia.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good
Hello.
morning. Should I say good morning? No morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
Thank you for remembering. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, I do all the time.
Claudia, where's all the people?
I don't know, my friend. I'm sure they will log in just now. A bit late.
Fashionably late.
But yes, African time.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, but yes.
I once did a wedding and the bride and groom, because I was officiating the wedding, and the bride and groom arrived 3 hours late for their own wedding. Can you believe it? And I was like, okay.
What?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Zulu couple. And then I was like asking the people, what's going on? Like, are they okay? Yeah, it's fine. This is what happens. It's no problem. So I was like, oh, okay, so we'll just relax and not stress about it. Which is quite a nice approach, I guess, for some. But for me, I get totally anxious. Okay, let's just give it another minute as we wait a little bit longer to see if more people will join us today. Good day, good afternoon, good morning, whatever your time zone is. Hello, welcome. Thanks, Sora. Actually, this is really one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world. Modigi, welcome. It really is. It's probably one of my favorite topics. Okay, I see people are joining. Right, let's get into a little opening practice, and while we wait for more people to log on, they finishing meetings or whatever, so we'll give them a chance. There's something about finishing a meeting and you need to run to the bathroom, and I get that, right? So let's place 2 feet firmly on the ground. And let's take in a nice, slow, deep breath in through the nose, breathing in. And then slowly breathing it out the nose with control. And another slow, deep breath in through the nostrils. Filling those lungs, expanding your lungs, exhaling out the nostrils with control. And last big breath in through the nose. Opening the mouth and gently sigh the breath out. And coming back to a normal, natural breath. So I could talk forever. Hi, Oluwapelumi, how are you? Good to see you. And we've got a few more people joining. Stephen and Zainab, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Hi, nice to see you. Abdelali, welcome. So yeah, it's Mark Joseph here from Mindful Revolution. The one thing that I remember about breathing and about breath work is when it was COVID, my lungs are not great, right? So when I got COVID in 2021, I think it was the year 2021, I was really sick. My oxygen dropped very low, and I was supposed to go to. Thanks, Olive. It's good to see you. I was supposed to go to hospital, but I heard such horror stories that I didn't want to go. And what saved me is I did breath work. I did a lot of breath work, and the breath work was really to expand my capacity to breathe, to expand my lung capacity, to literally make my lungs fitter than they were, right? So I did a lot of that, and it really helped. So don't think you shouldn't do breath work, okay? Because you never know when you're going to need it. I really do encourage to, and that's why exercise is also so important, because when we exercise cardiovascular, we're breathing quite deeply and heavily, or sometimes shallow, right? Depending on whatever exercise you're doing. But it's really, really good for our lungs. Okay, so I'm a firm advocate. Today we're talking about leading innovation, unlocking our creative potential under pressure. Under pressure, I think, yeah, we are recording. Okay, I just wanted to double check. I've been in the advertising world for most of my life. I started my advertising career in 1995. I don't want to give my age away, but I finished college and I went straight into the biggest advertising agency in Johannesburg. And at that time, it was Young and Rubicam. And we had the biggest account in South Africa, retail, which was Pick n Pay. The agency doesn't exist anymore. Amazing, right? How you can be so big and then don't exist. But I recall having to think creatively, right, for advertising campaigns and having to think out of the box and meeting with creative people and talking about ideas and creative campaigns, slogans for billboards, logos, TV commercials, print commercials. And you can imagine in an advertising space, you have to think on demand. And sometimes the pressure is so severe that about having to think that it becomes really, really, really difficult. And I'd like to think that we all creative. Just because I've been in advertising and I had my own advertising business, just because I've been in advertising doesn't mean that I'm the only creative person, right? Everybody is creative. Now, you're creative how you help your kid with their school project, or how you make your sandwiches for them in the morning, or how you put your dinners together, or, you know, how you take your darling out for a romantic evening and plan all of that. Okay, so I mean, there's just everything is creativity, everything is innovative. And you're at work and you've got to get together with your colleagues and you've got to brainstorm and you've got to come up with ideas. We always having to come up with ideas. Okay, I don't know anybody that doesn't have to access that creative part of their brain. And in the world of artificial intelligence, this is something that we still rule. Okay, it's our domain at the moment. Okay, at the moment, and I mean, AI is making leaps and bounds into every single industry. But I'm not sure about advertising. I'm not sure if it will make those connections, make those creative ideas. But anyway, I'm going to rest it there. The source of creativity is something that I'm fascinated with. Where does creativity live? All right. Where does innovation live? Why are some people more innovative than other people? And how do you tap into your innovation? So I'm going to ask you the question. And you're also welcome to put your microphone on. But please, everybody, I'm going to ask you to pop this in the chat at least. Okay, but we'd love to hear your voice. Where are you when you have some of your best ideas? Where do you find yourself? Where are you? Are you on top of a mountain? Are you at your desk? Are you in a meeting? Where are you? Now think about it. Where are you where you have some of your best ideas? Oluwapalumi says solitude. That's where you have your best ideas. Modiji, driving alone. Smith saying sleep. Yeah. Walking my dog. Stephen. Zainab is saying at the gym. Okay. Yeah. 2 seconds before falling asleep. In the bush, Elmarie. That's a good place to have it. What a wonderful. The bush can be very quiet. There's no traffic. There's no loud noises except for animals roaring or elephants trumpeting. I do think I need to get back to the bush. All right. Anybody else want to contribute here? The question is, where do you have some of your best ideas? We're talking innovation. We're talking creativity. And maybe the idea is starting a little something, a sideline business, how to help your mom or your dad with something, or how to help your child, or something at work. There's a project at work that you haven't been able to solve a problem, and then all of a sudden the solution comes to you. Okay, Sanya is saying also when in solitude. So not one of you, not one of you have said, when I'm in a Teams meeting with my colleagues. Zora says, walking out, walking away from it. Okay, yeah, walking away. Not one of you has said, when I'm in a board meeting with my colleagues. But yet we find ourselves a lot in terms of having to think in that situation, but that situation is not where we can think best, isn't it? Sanja's saying, when I'm having a conversation with someone. Yeah. Teams meeting. Oh, no, that's funny. Yeah. So now I'm asked, now that I've got you, I've got you. There's no hiding, all right? There's no running away from this question, guys, because is our model of working and being creative successful? There's no way to get around it. We have to get together, but let's see in the way that we get together. All right. Hilal talking with friends. Nice. Okay. Sharing ideas. This is Archimedes. It's a picture of him in the bath, and Archimedes came up with the idea to solve the water duct problem in a town called Syracuse in ancient Greece. And this was 250 BC. Okay. So he was lying in the bath and he was thinking about water displacement and aqueducts. And all of a sudden, the idea came to him of how water could be distributed throughout the town. And he was so excited that he jumped out of the bath naked and he shouted, "Eureka, Eureka." Okay, it's a very famous word, Eureka. And he ran through the streets naked, shouting Eureka. I mean, you can imagine this guy running through the town naked. Now, these days, you'd be arrested. Okay, don't run through the street naked. Not a good idea. But in those days, it seemed to be okay to do that, especially if you were an inventor. But, ladies and gentlemen, Archimedes was in the bath. He wasn't at that meeting. Okay, he was lying in the bath. This gentleman here, this gentleman here is his name is Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, and for me, probably one of the most innovative people I've ever come across. And I haven't met him, but I would love to, because he made mindfulness popular in the world. Okay, not just in Asia, because that was already there, right? But he made it popular in the scientific world. And then a lot of people began to have faith in practicing meditation and mindfulness because of Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. And he started his work from the University of Massachusetts back in the 1980s. And he was getting people to do long meditations, and they were having amazing results. And the definition of mindfulness is that mindfulness can be cultivated by paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, and in the present moment, with 3 attitudes of non-judgment, open-heartedness, and non-reactivity. But there's a 4th attitude, okay, that nobody talks about, because nobody understands why John is saying this. John is saying one of the attitudes of mindfulness is non-striving. Okay? Don't try too hard. Now, your teachers, your boss, your mom and dad, they don't like to hear that, okay? They want you to work, study etc. Acceptance. Yeah, acceptance is a big one too. Non-striving. So we're going to unpack, why did John tell us not to try too hard or not to strive? Okay, because it sounds completely counterproductive. Okay, so the source of creativity. Here's another question for all these wonderful ladies and gentlemen that are on the call, that are joining us from all over. What harms your ability to think? What harms your creativity? What harms your innovation? What harms your good ideas? Self-doubt. Okay. Thanks, Olu. Disturbance, Roshan. Thank you. What harms your creativity? I've got two. Self-doubt, disturbance. Yeah, like interruptions, right? It's definitely gonna harm our creativity. Noise. Thanks, Claudia. Noise that can disturb our creativity. Busy times, Hillel, when you are stressed. Yes, busy. When you're busy, that can harm our creativity. Absolutely. High goals for myself, and sometimes it stresses me out. Exactly. I like that, Elmarie. Stephen, negative comment on the same. A negative comment. That's interesting. The reality. Zainab, the reality of it. Huh? Yeah. Yo, you both have kids? Yeah, I've got a kid too. Definitely. Okay, so these things disturb our negative people. Absolutely, Hillel. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Okay. So fear. I'm going to throw another one in here. Fear. Feeling afraid. Negative people making you feel angry or afraid. So when you're feeling a negative emotion, your brain is affected, your creative brain, okay? This part of your brain is the prefrontal cortex, okay? This part where my hair is thinning because I'm so smart that you can't keep this incredible brain and hair going at the same time. Just kidding. Grant's actually more smarter. Grant is smarter than I am. You see, I've got some hair. But fear and anger shuts the prefrontal cortex down, okay? So when we are stressed, right, and we saw that that stress, and Elmarie, we can stress ourselves out by setting unrealistic goals and expecting them to be perfect, okay? So stress then stops us from being creative. And I'll give you a story. I used to work in a photographic studio, the biggest photographic studio in South Africa. It wasn't the biggest, but we made it into the biggest. We had 20 employees. And the photographer that I was working for, I won't give away his name, he would photograph cars, beautiful new cars for advertising. And when you photograph a car, it is very, very difficult to photograph because the car is reflective. The car, it's like photographing a mirror because you can see the lights in the car. So you've got to position the lights in a way that you don't see the lights, but that the light still picks up the lines of the car. Okay, it's very complicated. You can spend 2 hours or 3 hours taking one photograph because you've got to move the lights around. So this photographer has an assistant that moves the lights around. But the photographer comes to work in a bad mood, all right, in a very bad mood. And he's irritated with his assistant. So as this irritation builds, he starts to shout at his assistant. He starts to moan at his assistant, okay? And as he starts to complain and shout. His voice gets louder. He's using bad words. And I see that his assistant starts to dumb down. The assistant doesn't know what to do with the lights anymore, which is crazy because the assistant has been doing this work for 20 years. He's been working on photographing cars for 20 years. He knows how to do this with his eyes closed. But because he's under fire from his boss, he forgets everything. And there's a scientific reason for it. Your hippocampus, your memory, your learning also is badly affected. So the brain's energy goes into the amygdala and is preparing for fight, flight, or freeze. Now, there's nothing smart about that nervous system state because we don't really need to be clever. We need to be strong or so we can run away or fight. But we're living in this modern day world where we don't have to do those things anymore. So we freeze instead. We can't fight with our boss. We can't run away from them. So what happens is we freeze. And we are like a deer in the headlights. We're stuck and we don't know what to do. And if you have a person that's bullying you in the workplace, it's going to shut your creativity down. Okay. And if we bully ourselves, okay, if we hard on ourselves, we are also going to affect our creativity. As Elmarie says, right, setting those high goals for ourselves, putting ourselves under pressure. So, one of the most amazing advertising companies that I used to work for, the creative team would be would have to go outside and lie on the grass and look at the clouds and think of good ideas instead of the boardroom. Instead of a boardroom where you feel triggered and stressed and you look around and you remember the last meeting that didn't go well and your environment is constrained. So we started to do brainstorming sessions outdoors while we were walking, while we were lying by the swimming pool, while we were busy making a barbecue, or what we call in South Africa a braai, while we were playing tennis or paddle. So in these environments, it was fun. And we had incredible ideas. Very creative ideas came from when people felt happy and safe and they were just having fun. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Of course it makes sense. So here are the human brain waves. This is beta brainwave state, which is the green. That's when you are cognizing, you're a little bit stressed, you are in the boardroom. But underneath it is alpha brainwave state, which is like smooth and relaxed. And it's in this brainwave state that creative ideas emerge out of nowhere, okay? Where our best, and that's why you all said when I'm walking, when I'm running, when I'm at the gym, when I'm in my bed, because you are relaxed. And in that place of relaxation comes your great ideas and not in moments of stress. So this is a byproduct of stress reduction, okay, is you are going to think better. So let's do a little innovation practice. All right, I'm going to take us into a little innovation meditation. All right, let's do that now. Let's try it. So let's put 2 feet firmly on the ground and let's take in a nice, slow, deep breath. All right, breathing in through the nose and breathe it out. Okay, good. Right, now let's focus our awareness on our breathing. And if you're breathing through your nose, that's fine. Okay, nice regular breath. And relax your mind. Don't try to focus too hard. Remember, non-striving. It mustn't be perfect. Your focus must not be perfect. Like 30% focus. Give up on being perfect. because when we try to be perfect, we put pressure on ourselves and we push us into fight, flight, freeze, which is no good for our creativity and harms our brain. It's the stress state. Why do it to yourself? Relax, relax, relax. Breathe nice, breathe smooth, breathe softly, like soft cotton wool. Okay, soft cotton wool breath. And now think of a problem in your life, something that you're struggling to solve. Albert Einstein said we can't solve our problems with the same level of thinking we use to create that problem. So let's relax, okay? And now think of the problem, and then don't think of the problem. Put it on the back burner. Put it on the back of your mind. And come back to your breath. Okay, we're going to take one more big breath and release. Now, nothing really is going to come out of that practice because it's very short, but I've given you a technique that when you want to solve a problem, focus on your breathing, relax, bring the problem up, and don't try to solve it. And then you'll solve it. I know it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But if we look at human brain waves, if you're in the alpha state and you don't try and solve your problem, because if you're trying too hard, you're going to push yourself into beta. Don't try, and you stay in alpha, and then the solution to the problem will come in a divergent way. Does that make sense? Or do you think I'm crazy? I'm just giving you the science of how the brain works. All right? All right. Leonardo da Vinci said, every now and then go away and relax. Because when you come back to work, your judgment will be surer, since to remain constantly at work will cause you to lose the power of judgment. Go some distance away because the work appears smaller and more of it can be taken in at a glance. And a lack of harmony or proportion is more readily seen. This is one of the greatest inventors that the world has ever known. He's telling us to take a break. He's telling us, step away from it. And then you'll see a lack of proportion, or you'll see where things fit together or don't fit together. But you've got to step away. You've got to take a break. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, one of the most amazing classical music composers ever lived. When I am completely myself, alone, or at night when I can't sleep, you see, there we go, guys, you mentioned sleep. It is on such occasions that my ideas flow best and most abundantly. Whence and how these come, I know not, nor can I force them, nor do I hear them in my imagination depart successfully, but I hear them all at the same time, all together. Can you imagine hearing a symphony, not in parts, but complete? It's genius. But if Mozart didn't relax, he wouldn't hear it. Okay, you got to relax. Jay-Z, I love Jay-Z, one of the world's best rappers. He says artists can have greater access to reality. They can see patterns and details and connections that other people distracted by the blur of life might miss. Just sharing that truth can be a very powerful thing. So the blur of life, right? We miss the patterns. But when you slow down and you stop striving and you stop trying for things to be perfect, then we can see better. We can understand it better, and we can have better thoughts around it. Guys, does this make sense to you? Yeah? Okay. It makes a lot of sense to me because I meditate every day. And when I meditate, I have amazing ideas. Thanks, Claudia. I have amazing ideas when I'm calm, when I'm sitting in meditation. And then I think, oh, but now I'm thinking of these other ideas and I'm not focusing on my meditation. So it's a distraction, okay? So I have a piece of paper or a notepad and a pencil, and then I write those ideas down, and then I go back to my meditation, okay? because I don't want those ideas to disappear. I like those ideas. Also, we are living in the age of distraction, ladies and gentlemen. So the more distracted we are, and I know a couple of you mentioned distraction, busyness, Hilal, disturbance, Roshan, distraction. This then takes us away from focus. So focus, when we have that good idea, we're going to need a level of focus to unpack that idea, to open it up. But if you keep getting distracted, that good idea is going to die because we're not able to explore it further. So there is a level of focus. So take breaks. Here's my message today. Take a break. Step away from your work as often as you can, because sometimes the real work is done not at your desk, but away from it. And then come back and focus as much as you can. Okay? There we go. So let's try it. Next time I see you, I'm pretty excited to hear how it went, because it works. Okay? I promise you it works. If you want to switch your brain on and come up with the best ideas. Also, if you're a leader, give other people the space to be heard. All right? Don't shut them down. Don't bully them. Let's not put people down because of their age, their race, whatever. Okay? Everybody has a voice. And this is why diversion, equity, and inclusion is vital in innovative and creative thinking, because everybody has a voice. Everybody must be included. And everybody has their own unique ideas. Okay? Yeah, only I just came up with that. I don't know. See, I had a good idea because I'm relaxed. The real work is done not at your desk, but away from it. Okay? Yes. Think about it. Think about it. Dear friends, that's it for today. Happy Wednesday, Wellbeing Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you all again. Zora, awesome. Thank you. Don't be too hard on yourselves, guys. Don't be too hard on yourselves. You're going to block yourself. Okay? So be kind. Be kind to yourself and to others. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Olu Wepalumi. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thanks, Sanya. Hilal, Jay, Elmarie, Rashan, Claudia, Abdelali. Thank you, Stephen, Ilana. Take care, guys.